There you go.
Hey, hi.
Hey, finally.
Yeah. Hi, there I am. And now here's the paper. All right. Can't see you, Shinsuke, but do you have your camera
Yeah.
pointed at the paper? Great.
Yeah, I'm pointing at the paper. Actually, this is the random paper from my healthcare.
I love it.
Using the backside of it.
I love it.
It's the spirit of my grandma.
Yes.
Using the back, recycling everything.
That's great. Now tell me a
Using-
little bit about that. Did your grandmother used to doodle a lot on things?
No, she made a notepad. She just there are like tons of advertisement comes with the newspaper.
Uh-huh.
And back then, when I was a kid, or maybe I should start doodling too, right?
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable
I'm
with.
I'm really bad at multitasking, so I don't know if I can do that, but I do my best.
Well, we can also be quiet. That's fine too.
Okay,
I think sometimes when we're doing this, there's a pressure to entertain people, but you know what? Today, everyone will be entertaining themselves.
all right.
Okay. And
So,
yeah.
oh, sorry, you're saying something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So all I was saying is, they say that some people say that your intelligence decreases as you multitask.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that's true. But when I do doodle, I find that I take a longer to say things.
Oh, yeah, I've never done this before because doodle is such a private thing. So normally I'm quiet when I doodle.
Oh, okay. We can be quiet. It's great to see
Sorry,
you.
taking camera.
Huh?
Yeah, like I'm holding phone too myself, so I'm
Oh,
just
oh,
holding.
okay. Maybe you know what we'll do? Let's be quiet for a little bit, and then when it starts to feel more comfortable, we can start to talk again. Does that sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And and also too, I can, you know me, I talk a lot.
Yeah, I would talk a lot, but not while I'm doodling normally.
I like it. I like that it's taking your full concentration. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm very private.
Uh-huh. And when you're making your work, do you feel that way too? That it
Oh yeah.
you have to be alone? Mm. Yeah, I strangely I kind of like the pressure of other people looking at my work. I don't know why that is. It's
That's some sort
it's
of exhibitionism.
Yeah, I guess that would be exhibitionism. I hate it when I have gallery shows though, and the work is on the wall.
Oh, really?
And oh, I've been drawing, but nothing's been on the screen. So that's hilarious. Uh, yeah, I get very nervous about that because um, I think sometimes I get a little nervous that my artwork isn't communicating what I'm wanting it to do, or I can't. I'm a control freak. That's all there is to it.
Ah,
And so,
okay.
yeah, so it's like, and it's something that the doodling actually helps me with. But but yeah. So if I'm having a show, sometimes I'll get very nervous because I feel, I'm feeling a lot of emotions, and I also feel the pressure to talk about the work. But then the
Right.
work, I just like the idea that the work has a life of its own, and it just kind of
Yeah.
lives its own
No
life.
matter
Yeah.
what you think or you feel.
Yeah, and also people bring themselves to, we both know this as gallery educators, people bring so much to looking at artwork by themselves, that
Yeah, I think after like working as educator for a while, and at some point I realized that whatever we explain to artists, have a statement about their work. They sometimes they see what they want to see. So I was
hmm
like, that kind of gave me a kind of actually a revelation that oh, I can just make whatever, and like they see, they read whatever they want, the way they want to read or see it.
right.
So that actually became the core of my work as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
my collage, yeah, is a lot of found papers and mostly found paper, found things. So it had some sort of as a whole, it looks kind of abstract,
Yeah.
but uh, each element are a very sort of familiar thing to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to kind of make, people, I mean, make my collage hard to sort of make sense by itself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
try not to make any connections between the elements I use in the collage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That people kind of start, creating their own sort of a story based on what I've made. And
Mm.
I enjoy that, their, readings. The same way I really enjoy, working as as an educator, like
Mm-hmm.
listen to people, and some people start saying that I've never heard or never thought by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
especially yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and also I think sometimes because they're in a group of people, that is a whole new experience to talk with a group of
Right.
people about artwork too. Yeah. And it brings up other things, you know. Um, have you ever
Yeah,
had
it is. Hmm?
have you ever had people talk about personal issues when you were touring them?
I
Things.
think I heard not in my tour. I'm maybe not good at like the pulling those the sort of creating atmosphere for everyone to feel safe somehow. Not there
Uh-huh.
yet. You seem like you're good at that, but I'm not there yet. But I think I heard from the educators. So when we do the meetings once a while, not anymore, but we used to do meetings,
Uh-huh.
and when we start talking about artworks and we know each other well, not
Uh-huh.
well, but we've been working together for a while, so sometimes those private thing comes out,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I really cherish that moment.
It's good. It does really change. It really, as an artist, it really helps you see the power that your artwork can have on people, and the ways that it can get them to think new things or have new feelings, or at least just have a place to express them.
Yeah,
I think that's very cool. And you know, it's yeah, I think I'm a little like you in that, realizing that, you know, to create an art experience, I don't have to um, worry too much about clear communication because people will see what they want to see. So I used to, when I my thesis show as a graduate student at
uh,
CalArts, I I was working in a realistic way, and in the middle of the painting I had done was a big plate of beets, you know, like the root vegetable beets. I
yeah,
thought they were realistically painted, but people
yeah,
were seeing all kinds of things. You know, here I am doing something realistic and putting a lot of, oil painting bravado into it, a lot of effort
yeah,
um
yeah.
and
That reminds.
yeah.
we,
What's
we
that?
talk a lot. We're both educators, so we're just like both facilitators and like to talk.
It's good. I
No,
know.
but the beat story reminded me of the Gauguin at the Guggenheim.
Mm-hmm.
There's one painting called in the Vanilla Grove, Man and Horse.
Right.
So it's the painting that Gauguin painted in Tahiti Island or whatever.
Yes.
And several people, like from different, the groups, say that there's like a dead fish in the middle. I love that. Like there's some dark spot in the middle. Some people say it could be a water or something, but not just one person, but the several people in my tours said that they saw a dead fish.
That's really funny. I
Yeah, I love that moment.
I there's going to be an upcoming Doodle with me in 2 weeks where we talk about conspiracy theories, and I kind of think that dead fish in the middle of a painting is kind
Yeah,
of the same way that people kind of invent conspiracy theories to explain something they don't understand, you know?
right.
So it's kind of like QAnon is the dead fish in the middle of a Gauguin painting.
Yeah, I think that yeah, that people wants to figure out what's going on or what's in the painting, and
Hmm.
especially I think Gauguin's painting, the background is a little bit abstract, so it's not clear what it is exactly.
Right.
Also, color is not, like the realistic,
Right. Right.
and somehow that's like a sort of dark blue spot in the middle of the sort of the. It's kind of like the bush or forest. Somehow make people think of a dead fish, and I just like I don't know enjoy those moments in my work.
Well, also too, because taking it back to our theme of amateurism and professionalism,
Oh, that's right,
when
I forgot the theme.
oh no, you know what? I do that. You don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I just do that because I like to. But uh, it is kind of funny how you're in a museum and people feel like if you're in a museum, everything should be explained, you know, because it's a professional space. So there should
Hmm.
be an explanation for everything, right?
Yeah,
Uh, and so it is funny sometimes when you're looking at art with people, and sometimes there may not be an explanation. I mean,
no,
yeah, when I worked at um, uh, the Hirshhorn Sculpture Garden in
yeah,
Washington, D.C., what was interesting about that was because taxpayers paid for it, some people would get angry that the artists that the museum was showing, they didn't like that their taxpayer dollars went to support artists. So it wasn't just like my kid could do this or,
yeah.
this isn't art or this isn't beautiful. It was also like, I don't want to have to pay for this. And then there was a
Oh,
part, yeah, there's a part of me
yeah,
that was kind of like, and you shouldn't. If you don't want to pay for it, you should have a choice. But it's
yeah,
also kind of like, whatever, I, I,
yeah.
I think it's okay to be open to new ideas. So, maybe it's a privilege to pay for that. But,
Sure.
so, and you have been working in a really interesting way with your collages for a while, which is that you use a lot of things that people would find like in the trash, right?
Yeah,
And that's so interesting that you said that your mom used to save everything and recycle everything too.
that was grandma.
Oh, grandmother,
I mean, my
sorry.
family has a tendency to do that, but yeah, actually, like I've been thinking, especially I'm staying at the home, because of Corona, and start thinking, why am I doing this,
Right.
and where is this from? And Doodle too. I started, doodling when I was a kid. That
Uh-huh.
that I remember that my grandma was, keeping the those advertisement papers with the white background
Uh-huh.
and just cut it into the same shape, like a letter, not letter size, like a postcard size,
Yeah.
and staple it together to make it a notepad.
That's great. My grandmother, I had one grandmother who I think did a lot of things that were from the Depression era. So she used to
Mm.
like save all the grease in a coffee can, and she would
Yeah,
do that. She would cut up documents and use the other side to create her own notepad. And it's just people who've gone through the 40s and 50s and understood, or even
yeah,
the 30s and understood that you know this this stuff's expensive and why throw it out? You
yeah.
know.
I think that's like my kind of basic idea of the doing collage too.
Yeah.
So that I started there, and I was making dual because I was hanging out with my grandma a lot. My parents are working, so she took care of me,
Uh-huh.
and she just let me doodle on the back of the paper, like these random papers that they don't need anymore.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, when I came to New York and start making collage, I found really kind of, I don't know, comfortable just doing it.
Yeah.
And if you realize that there's so many papers that are free, like it's just, basically garbage, but they're all free.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about how much it costs to buy a really nice watercolor paper,
Yeah, I
uh,
didn't want to do that.
yeah, and there's a part of me too that's kind of like it's so expensive. It's like having a new piece of furniture. You're afraid to use it because you're going to get it stained, or you
Yeah.
know.
That's true. Yeah.
Even though I know it's for the drawing, there's a part of
Mhm.
me that's like, gosh, if I make a mistake, I don't know if I can just throw it out. Now, that's the thing when they show these professional artists in videos, or, you watch, Art 21, or these artists that, are considered, professional. They always
Yeah.
have tons and tons of art supplies, tons of
Yeah.
paper, tons of stuff, and they can just use it like, it's and throw it out if it's not working out. And that's like such an amazing luxury. Whenever I see people do that, I'm always like, wow, that must be something to I to worry about, not have to worry about wasting art supplies, you know?
Yeah.
It's such a it's and I imagine would my work be better if I had a stack of beautiful Arches paper that I could just like make tons of mistakes on and keep throwing out until I get it right for myself. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good part of the interesting topic for the professionalism. So
Yeah.
I'm like completely against that, and just like my way is like surviving as not spending much money on my work.
Hmm. Interesting.
So like even like those, the papers that I use for the how do you call it, the support papers, that I glue the other elements to. I
Mm-hmm.
used to use those. I got those papers from my friends, like who are throwing away the papers
Mm-hmm.
they don't take anymore. So I just collect those, or pick up from the garbage, from the my work, because
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in a building where a lot of studios, artist studios, and there are always some nice garbage there that I can pick up and use it in my work. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, I don't basically spend money on my materials besides
Mm.
glue.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, your work I really enjoy your work,
Oh, thank you.
and I feel like I don't think about the materials at all because I'm so excited about just kind of the relationships you're making with the lines and the color, and some of the ways that I can kind of start to look at the images you're using and make connections, and that's kind of, you're not letting the materials get in the way, which I find really cool. um, and I was also wondering, when you started to work that way, did you go to art school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I did.
Yeah, I figured you had. But when you started to work that way, did you get worried that people might not take you seriously? I'm not saying that that's a problem with your work. I'm just wondering if you ever worried about it.
Uh, I think I didn't have much worry about. I think that luckily my, the how do you say, brain or my mind doesn't work that way, and
That's
I
great.
don't really worry about how people see me or my work.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of free from those fear or the anxiety.
I
I was
forgot
like,
I forgot you're an Aries, aren't you?
I am, yeah. So
Aha.
that
That
helped
is
me a lot.
It helps a lot with art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a strange combination of astrological signs. So,
What do you mean straight?
huh? Well, I'm
What do you
I'm
mean
I'm
straight?
a Sagittarian, and then I have Virgo rising. So they're two very different kinds of impulses. And
Ah.
so I think sometimes I have a little bit of an inner battle. But my father, who's on this call, is an amateur astrologer, and so
Oh, nice.
he could always weigh in as to if I'm wrong or right about that. But anyway, it's sometimes it's kind of fun to think about
Yeah.
that. So actually, our Doodle with Me time is over. I
Oh
thought
no.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's
It's
okay.
so great to talk with you, but
Yeah.
I try to keep it to a half hour, and
Right.
so this is just a moment for us to just kind of you know um, do anything that we feel like we have to do to feel good about our doodles, or you know uh, we can wrap up the conversation. And
Right.
what
Should
and
we
then
talk about amateurism finally?
what's that?
Should we talk about amateurism finally? I mean, we
What?
did a little bit.
Oh, amateurism. Oh yeah, we did a lot. I think we didn't talk
Yeah.
about laziness. We don't
Oh, that's
have,
right. Laziness.
yeah, we don't have to, because I realized
Right.
when I said that in my
Hmm.
description, I think people think of that in a negative way. And for me, it's helped me. Like, for instance, I used to do large paintings that took me a lot of time,
Yeah.
which is fine, but it also with it, there were oil paints and big canvases, and I had to lug them around town. And when I would show them, it was like they'd fall off the truck on the freeway, and it was a big problem. And then I
Oh, yeah.
didn't know where to store them unless they, so you have
Hmm.
to sell them. And I was just at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work on paper. I can keep things flatter. It's not
Oh,
as much
yeah.
hassle. And in some ways, I feel like, we've talked a little bit about that. There are some decisions that maybe as artists we have to make just out of practical reasons, not because they're like aesthetic choices, you know.
Right.
You know.
I had the
So
exact same reason for my strategy. Like just keep it small, keep it light. So because I'm immigrant, so I didn't know when I had to go back to Japan all of a sudden. If my visa expires, I had to go. Luckily, I don't have to now. But
yes, you're a married man.
yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and flip our cameras around, and unfortunately, we'll have to. Oh, my dad has come in with the verdict about the
Oh,
Sagittarius and Virgo being very different. So, if people want to read that in the comments, please
oh,
do.
yeah.
I'm going to have my dad on Doodle with me at some point, and so maybe we'll have to figure out when that will be. But anyway, let's flip our cameras and just say. Oh, see, it's so much easier for you to flip your camera because you
Yeah.
are
Yeah. I'm
holding
just.
it. Let me
Okay.
just, I'm going to hold mine. You're smart. And here I am. All right. It was great to see you.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. And I
Wish I
feel
could
like
have more.
I always feel bad how short things are. Um,
Yeah,
but we have so much to talk about, Shinsuke. So
I know. Yeah. Next time we have coffee or something.
yes,
One day.
this will not end. I'll just keep doing it until no one shows up. And then I'll
Good.
just be like you and doodle by myself, which is fine.
Yeah, I can come back anytime if you
Good.
if you need someone to join.
Of course, of course. And yeah, thank you again. It was great speaking with you. And
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to take you off the screen.
Yeah.
So if that's a relief, I hope it's. And just to sign off with everybody, thank you for joining. Doodle with Me happens every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Coast time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on February 19th, the next theme, and as you can see, these themes are very loose. It's just an excuse to talk. The theme is Queer Time, and it will be with Nancy Agabian. And you can check her out on Instagram as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Shinsuke, for doodling with me. And I loved your doodle. People have been sending me their doodles through DMs, and I love to see them. So if you want to do that, fantastic. And this is a time for you. It's a time for you to just be unprofessional. So anyway, thanks for being an amateur with me or a professional with me undercover. And I will see you all next week. Bye.